2 today at 3. Special guest today is...
Zoe.
Zoe. Yeah, what a cool name.
The best.
Yeah. Sort of a bit unfair on the rest of us. You know, how do you feel if you're a Bob?
We always talk about that, Trev, and here we are.
Or a Jane?
Aww. There she is.
What's your name? Bob, Jane, Bill, Frank. What's your name? Zoe.
Zoe.
That's like cheating. No pressure. Now, just to set it up, we had a religious event yesterday, an Old Testament event. We were playing, what's that game called we played? Phase 10.
Phase 10, yeah.
Now, Phase 10, you got to do, is it 10? Oh, it's 10 phases.
Yes. Yes.
About Phase 6, I have won nearly every phase. I've scored 15 points, and the lower the better. Mm-hmm. Zoe's on 200 plus. Mm-hmm. Rubbish. And then there's no way I can lose. And then Sam goes, my boy goes, Zoe's going to win. I'm like, she's so far behind. There's no way. And then I said, if she wins, I'll burn these cards in the fire as an offering. Now, it wasn't completely stupid because they were a bit old.
They look pretty bad.
But I was like, so 40 minutes later, we're sitting there watching the cards burn.
Green flames.
Yes.
So once Sam had prophesied that she would win, I spent 7 turns or 6 turns trying to get 2 sets of 4. So the question is, and this has happened how many times?
Many times.
Many times.
99.9%.
90 times. So like my son who likes to play cards is quite competitive. He's mentally broken and destroyed. It doesn't matter what the score is because she's going to win, mate.
We always get like a glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
And then...
And Zoe just sits there like the silent assassin. Now, is it the Lord or is it some kind of pact you've made with evil?
I don't know. It's just the way of life.
It's the way of the Zoe life, Dad.
Zoe life.
But
winning is easy.
But good news. We played 5 crowns after that. And you'll be very pleased to know the good guys won.
I must be the bad guy. Lost both times. Miserably.
Yeah, but you expect to lose.
Well, I didn't actually. Not twice.
Yeah, we played it again to change the order, and it was the same order both times.
So who won?
Mike won.
Not even close.
He's also a bit of a card shark there.
I'm really good at cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we have a new pack of Phase 10.
Same results.
We can't burn them yet. They look so nice. Give it a while.
You guys know this, what I'm going to share, but I'll get it on the camera because the people on the camera don't know. A shout out to Michelle Kelly in Canada. Sent me a photo this week. She was walking down the road and she saw a van saying Kiwi Lift Service. So she thought of us, and then she said she photographed it, sent me the photo, and the time stamp on the camera was 3 1s in there. So yeah, she's thinking of us. So it turns out we have a van in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're everywhere, really.
We're international.
Kiwis do like to travel.
We do. And so I said to her, can you purchase the van and hold it for our next Canadian road trip, which would actually be our first Canadian road trip.
Yeah. Well, Zoe's been.
I've done it.
You've done it?
Yeah.
Did you see the van when
Yeah,
you were
not
there?
in the van.
So, yeah. So, shout out to you, Michelle. Awesome, good photograph. Well done. Yeah, so anyway, we're doing all this stuff lately about, I'm sort of stuck in Genesis a little bit on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And then we realised that the enemy's one tactic was that tree. And then we worked out last week that is one tactic, is still is one tactic.
Yes.
Because it worked. But, it's not going to work. It's not going to work anymore. We're reversing it all. And so I was in Genesis again, and I said to the Lord this morning, and I was reading some more things in Genesis this morning. I says, there's a bit more to it, isn't there? And he goes, yeah, no one's plumbed it. So we're in good company.
Challenge.
A lot happened in Genesis. So I'll pick up this Genesis chapter 3, and this is the first time that the whole, and you girls will relate to this, this is the first time in the Bible that we see a seamstress.
Oh, yep.
I'm a great seamstress.
Are you?
No.
Which
Lucky
one?
the button stays on. I'll go, Sharon, you can represent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, phew.
because like
In this room.
we went to a play on Havelock the other day, and it turns out when you move to Havelock, you have to join the quilting club or the men's shed. So the men build things with wood, and the ladies seamstress stuff.
Or they do jam.
Oh yeah, jam's also a big thing in Havelock.
Massive.
Yeah,
Actually, pretty good.
that's
Pretty good.
why there's only a population of 519 people in Havelock.
Nobody else makes it.
It turns out in 2024, making jam and clothes and hitting bits of wood with a hammer are not the top priorities.
Really?
It's a digital world we live in now. Yeah, and we get our clothes from China. God bless the Chinese.
Thanks, Chinese.
Thank you. So anyway, Genesis chapter 3. This is the Lord. Also for Adam and his wife, the Lord God made tunics of skin and clothed them. Good time. So that's Genesis chapter 3. After they'd lost innocence, eaten off the tree, everything gone bad, we're naked, all these sorts of things. That's Genesis chapter 3, the shame, okay? And it's just after that really neat bit where God introduces the work ethic. Cursed is the land, and by the sweat of your brow
Super
you will
cool.
toil.
Yes.
Good times.
Great.
Good times. So that was Genesis chapter 3. And then so he makes them these clothes, and so they're clothed. And then we get down to Mark chapter 1. John the Baptist turns up. End of the Old Testament, the entrance Jesus coming in to set up the new order, the new regime, the Christ, getting rid of the Adam.
The new man.
And it had always bugged me that he was wearing camel's hair and a leather belt. And I thought, he's a Nazarite. It's standard attire. And that's based on absolutely no research. I just felt like maybe and locusts and honey. I have done a study on that, which I won't get into. But anyway, so it always sort of bothered me, and I was doing the whole thing. Oh Lord, you made garments. And I said to the Lord, man, what would that be worth at an auction? The first garments made are made by God. I bet they'd reach a good price at Sotheby's. I wonder what quality they were.
What would they smell like?
Immaculate sewing. Or
I think if
whatever method.
God made them,
They wouldn't smell?
I don't know what they'd be. I think it'd be interesting. Sort of have now a fixation on seeing it.
You're alone.
And so anyway, so that's the start of the Old Testament. One of the first things God does is cover their shame, make some skins for them, make some clothes for them. Just, And it's on. The devil's done his thing. Mankind's gone into a bad place of shame and toil. Thank you. I think probably thank you, Adam. And thank you, Eve. That was awesome. We have all appreciated.
On the character building journey.
Yes, thank you for that.
Love it.
I have enjoyed all my jobs. You know those guys that say, if you love your job, you'll never go to work a day in your life? Yeah. Used to hate it
Well,
when
there's
people
just-
said that.
Mocking you, eh?
Because I pretty much hated every job I've ever had. God would find things I wasn't good at and go, how about having a shot at that?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, we're just giving Zoe time to warm up. And then we get to Mark chapter 1, verse 6. Now John was clothed with camel's hair and with a leather belt around his waist, and he ate locusts and honey. It's always bothered me about the clothing. And then the Lord said to me, well, it's obvious, isn't it? If you marry it to Genesis chapter 3. He's a prophetic picture. He comes out at the end of the Old Testament, out of the wilderness, wearing Adam and Eve's clothes. He's clothed in skin. He's got something covering his shame. And I go, Lord, I understand that, covering his shame, I get that. Camels here. And so I did a little word study. Camels here, burden-bearing animal. So that's the sweat of your brow. So he's a prophetic picture.
And it's also...
Oh, don't even start.
No, I just had a thought.
Okay, go.
I got to put it in. I don't have anything written down. Have a thought, people.
Hold on.
No, but does the locust and the honey... Thank you. I haven't said it yet.
Oh, yeah. Sort of,
Now I'm nervous. This is just amusing.
Yeah.
So, like, the locust and honey, does that represent, like, the blessing and curse, man? Because locust was definitely a curse.
Whatever.
And honey is definitely a blessing. So is that also part of the picture of the tree?
Obviously.
Obviously.
That is so good.
Locust
Thank you.
also, when you look at the root word, means lightning.
Oh, yeah, that's that phase.
Yeah, that's
but
that
also
phase.
it brings, like,
No, you're good,
devastation to your crops and stuff. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
not the
Oh,
funnest.
it does.
It's not the funnest.
Oh, my God. That is so good.
It's so
Devastation to the crops. The lamb was cursed.
Yeah.
He's eating up the curse, and he's wearing clothes from the curse. My God, everything that guy did was prophetic. Before he spoke a word, his lifestyle was a prophetic thing. What he was wearing and what he was doing. He's a transitional figure in the Bible. That was good, man.
Okay.
Very
You
good.
added to it. That's cool.
It was good. So
The
yeah,
layers.
there's always more to it. And what annoys me about Revelation and the layers? When you see it, it's always obvious. And you just wonder how you missed it forever. I've read about those stupid clothes for 40 plus years. I forgot about God making Adam and Eve clothes because it's all in the middle of all the great events and just chucks in a little one-liner about clothing. Anyway, so the Lord said to me, John the Baptist, he signalled prophetically the end of the burden, the end of the shame. And Jesus came and he did not wear that apparel. He wore different clothes. He ushered in a new era. So I put end of the shame and burden, end of the curse, and obviously he was eating locusts, which is good, Span. You're through to the next round. We've been getting off the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and coming to the tree of life. And so a lot of our discussion has been, what does it look like practically to walk in life? We sort of know what it's like to walk on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. When we talked about shame, and what did we talk about the other day? Either shame or pride. You know, you're either depressed or you're arrogant, and neither are a good state, and all this sort of stuff. And so it's really a tale of those two things. And it's like, so my interest lately is Zacchaeus, climb down quickly, stop quickly doing the dumb stuff, and start doing the life stuff. So I've been going, Lord, okay, what does it look like? What's it feel like? And so everybody's in a different situation or a different spot. One of the things that I do, which I'm trying to stop doing, is I'm a bit hard on myself as far as work ethic. I'm always thinking I'm not doing enough. Which tree is that from? Hands up. Who thinks that's from the tree of life? No one thinks that. And so, you know, I'm super interested in transitioning off that tree onto the tree of life. Now, I have made progress, not as bad as I used to be, but I still do that. And I get told off by my wife. And I get,
Did you like whip yourself like a slave gets whipped? Is that kind of style?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's just that subtle impression that you could be doing more, or that you should be doing more, or that sort of stuff, you know? And I know it's stupid.
Which creates stress.
Which creates shame
Yeah.
and stress and anxiety. Now, I don't want to paint myself out to be really bad, because I'm pretty much out of the tree. I mean, I'm in jumping distance.
Nice. And you know what? Like, even if it's a little bit high, like we did as a kid, just jump, and you might get pins and needles in your feet, but it's worth it.
Because I like things that work. I like practical stuff. I like to get something and then go away and work on it. And so, like I said to the Lord this week, what shall I do today? Because I don't have any plans. What shall I do today? Mm-hmm. And he goes, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I got like 5 options of things I can do. And he said, I don't really care what you do. I said, what do you mean you don't really care? He says,
What?
I'm more interested in what state you're in. Where are you? He said to Adam, where are you? Because if you're on the wrong tree, it doesn't matter what you do. It's going to be rubbish or tainted or cursed.
Exactly. You don't want anything done from that state.
So we talked about the pit and the tree and religion and all, and we have done so many good works, haven't we, all of us? And if you do them in the wrong state,
Wrong spirit, yeah.
wrong spirit. So he said to me, I'm more interested in what state you're in versus what you do. Did I share about the graph on last week's video? Was that
No, that's new.
I think that's new. So, I'm famous for my graphs. Famous in how many places?
Havelock.
And
Oh, Papamoa.
Papamoa.
Yeah.
That's where
That's where they started.
the graph started at the
More in Papamoa than here, actually.
at the Friends Cafe on a napkin.
Yes.
We have kept that napkin.
We do have it still.
And you hated my graphs,
I
but
did.
you hate to measure things.
Oh, he always like, give it a number. How do you put it in a number? But you seem, I don't know, you find it easy to put everything in a number. Then we have to discuss, you actually have to put words into the numbers, so you
Yes.
actually have to put in what
You have to define it.
define it, yeah.
Yeah. So the Lord, turns out, I'm not the only one that likes graphs. Because the Lord showed me how to do those graphs.
On your level.
And the Lord said to me this week, I'll show you a graph. I thought, oh, cool. Because he knows I need things like that. So he said, on a graph, there's, so a simple graph, because he's dealing with me and you. And there's a graph, and one column is your state of being, where you're at, your state of being, your state of mind. Where are you? What tree are you on? What's going on internally? Are you a new creation? All this sort of stuff. And he said, I like that to be quite high. Obviously 10 is the goal. It's a graph out of 10. He said, I like it to be high. And, I like to graph things because it gives you an idea where you're at so you can move on. And so, obviously I'm like an 8 or a 9.
Right up there.
I didn't actually work that out. And then the other graph is what you do. And in God's graph, your state of being is up here.
Yeah.
And what you do is down here. They're not co-equal. They're not as important. This is way more important. So I said, Lord, what shall I do today? He said, seriously, where you're at is far more important than what you do. Because we all do stuff. And it's like the cursey thing is, one the law, you got to keep all of it. So you do 10 good things. 10 good things. Stack, stack, stack. Do one bad thing. It cancels out the 10 good. Because the other, it's got to be, that's why the law's terrible and the curse is terrible. Because one mistake negates all the good you do. And so like getting off that tree and getting into the tree of life, it's not keeping a record of rights and wrongs and goods and bads. It's a whole nother way of living. And so to move a people and a church out of religion into that tree is quite the journey, isn't it? It's quite the journey. And it's quite the journey for even people to understand it. And so I'm sort of constantly monitoring myself because I'm super interested in life. I'm just going to finish with this and then you guys take over. And like we talked about the burden, and the camels here represents the burden in John. And then Jesus goes in Matthew 11, come to me, all you who labour. So he's speaking straight to that, into that Old Testament age, and are heavy laden, because that's what it was. It's a heavy burden. And I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. He says, for I am gentle. And this version says, and lowly in heart. And you will find rest for your souls. Someone who's, you can use the word meek, someone who's gentle and meek, how much demand's that going to be on you? That's the Lord. So the tree of the Lord is the tree of life. So the tree of life is gentle and it's meek and it doesn't put demands. I'm feeling better already. I mean, like, that's what he's like. And he said, you will find rest for your souls. And then he just doubles down and he goes, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now, you ask most Christians, is the yoke easy and the burden light? And they go, oh, it's hard. It's been hard. Because
the other tree is hard.
Because the devil, I said last week, the devil's tactic was to get him to eat off that stupid tree, the wrong tree. His tactic's still the same. So unless you're... So this is the little litmus test. What's your walk like? Actually, the Lord's yoke is easy and my burden's light and I have rest, you know? And then you go, I'm on the right tree. So if your burden's heavy and things are stressful and it's hard and it's demanding, you don't measure up, you're not even on... Oh, someone said last week, looked at the two trees and said, I don't think I'm even saved. Because this really, isn't it? You know, might be saved and going to heaven, but you're living under a curse. I'm super interested in getting people out of that cursed tree and onto the tree of life. I'm interested in getting all you guys off and over and people watching, but mostly, to be honest, super interested in getting me. So I want to live. I want to have light burden. I want to have joy, peace, right, and all that sort of stuff. So, like, these trees are so cool. And John the Baptist, he comes out, he's going, I'm the end of something. This is finishing with me. And 2,000 years later, we got the blitzing out, we got the dearest dust, we're watering the tree, we got people fueling it and keeping it going. It's true, isn't it? And the, you know, and
the what dust?
Dearest dust.
Dearest
You'd have to be
dust.
born in the 50s.
Your mum was going about that.
Oh, yeah,
Keep the bugs away.
Keeps the bugs away.
Right.
And so, you know, that tree, that's not good. Yeah.
So that's been my focus, has been coming into that state of being.
Thank you, Jesus.
Is like the meek and the gentle and the light burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, because on that tree, I've been trying to like follow the rules and, you know, do the things that you're supposed to do and work hard and accomplish things. And
So you're talking about from what age? You always been like that?
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ingrained in the culture and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
how you grew up.
I'm blaming your mother for a lot of that.
The expectations from her mama.
It's a strong thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they just want you to, like, not struggle,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been really interesting the last few years because it's all about, you know, when you leave school, it's building a career for yourself and it's all about, like, building and what you do and that kind of thing. So, yeah, but what I've been trying to learn is learn the nature.
Oh, yeah.
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 So that's what I want to develop first,
Yeah.
and then the rest will follow.
So it's been a combination of unlearning
Yeah.
and learning.
Yeah, it's different priorities. Yeah, so I want to get this nature thing sorted first.
Yeah. So a
And-
state of being.
State of being. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. The Lord gave me like 3 key scriptures to go with that.
Yeah.
At the moment, just recently, because Mum was sharing, she like had a really strong feeling that the like breakthrough is coming soon.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then
It's such an endorsement of her prophetic ability.
yes, looking forward to that. And then so I sat with that for a little bit. I'm just like, okay. And then I was like, Lord, actually, how's this breakthrough coming? Like, what do I have to do to get into position
Yeah.
for it to happen?
Yeah.
So one of the things was like, seek first the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
and then is the end of it, and the rest will be added or something.
Yeah.
Seek first the kingdom of God, the rest will be added.
Yeah.
So the key thing in that is seek. So it was something I had to do. Yeah.
How did that work for you? What does that mean for you in your world?
For seek, for me, it's intimacy. It's the secret place.
Okay. Yeah.
It's doing nothing, which is like when people say seek, it's like you have to go out and try and find things, and
Yeah.
but it's like stopping.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's the seek.
Yeah.
And the second point was second verse, be still and know that I'm God.
Yeah.
It's being still. So they like go together.
Yeah.
And then the last one was the Proverbs 25:2 that Deb talked about a bit, which is, I can't remember it exactly, but how it's the glory of God to hide a thing,
Yeah.
and then it's the glory of the man to search it out.
King search it out.
Yeah. So search. So it's like the seeking, being still, and search
Yeah.
were the keys. Yeah. So that's like a new thing that's, well, it's developing because I've only just thought of that recently. Well, the Lord gave it to me. But it's actually going to be, putting that into practice. But I think that goes well with the nature thing.
Yeah.
Just being still. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because definitely the nature definitely is the kingdom.
Yeah.
There's so many parables and things about Jesus talking about the nature, the different natures, and he's always going on with that, about the nature when he was talking about the kingdom stuff, and that's in you, because he's going, the kingdom's in you. So what's in you that you're after? It's the nature of God in that relationship. And then obviously that cool line of be still and know that I'm God. That means you actually have to be still to know him.
Yeah.
And then I've also been applying that to other people as well. Instead of looking at other people and having expectations or like, how do I word this? So when I'm looking at people now, it's looking at them through the being still and through God's lens in a way, instead of what have you done, what haven't you done, like
Okay.
how have you treated me, like what are you doing?
Oh. So you're looking through the other tree rather than the other one. You changed your lenses.
Yeah, I guess so.
Is that recent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so effective, like when you just change how you look at people, and it's like you just love them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's radical, eh?
absolutely.
Because we've been looking at them through we've been in a high place in the wrong tree, having an opinion on everybody.
Yeah, well, you get distracted because like they go and do something, or they say a nasty comment or
Yeah.
whatever, and then you get distracted and you're like all offended or whatever, and you build the wall up. And then you're like, oh, that's not very nice. But it's like, if you're like, no, I'm not gonna, you don't let that affect how you see them.
The Lord's been really helping you with that because he's put you in a whole lot of situations, hasn't he?
Yeah,
you-
getting to put it into practice.
Well, you get to put that into practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's constant.
Isn't that cool?
So much fun.
So, that's getting stronger and stronger, the
Yeah.
whole viewing people differently. Because, we should all know that, but it tends to not be something that we should know by our nature should tell us that. But, we get caught up on the stupid other thing.
Yeah. Mum and I talked about it a bit on the video, her and I did, but it's cool looking at people, like looking at their identities instead of looking at their position or how they're related to you or how you know them.
Oh, yeah.
It's, seeing them, so that's seeing them how God sees them, which is really important. And then it's seeing how, like, you guys collaborate together and, like, work together as a team and then to co-create, and that's like the kingdom of God being expressed.
I was just thinking about one of the blueprints for Zoe that I got for her was that she's supposed to be blissfully unaware, and I didn't quite understand that, but I think it's like you're supposed to be blissfully unaware of that Adamic nature in people. Yeah, and that's like what you were saying, because you were like, you're focusing on the other one and seeing them how God sees them.
We
Real
got good
person.
at that dumb tree. Can you imagine? We talk about innocence, restoration of innocence.
Yeah.
You keep doing this, the result is you don't even notice it anymore, blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
Because you're so
It's so
caught up.
innocent, yeah.
That is such a, isn't that cool? Like, I like that. I like stuff like that. Because that's like a, you know, we've done the same. We tried to look at people different, and we choose to look at people differently. And even sometimes, you know, apart from their actions, and like the trickiest person is yourself, obviously. That's where you have to start. But then,
It comes easier when, like with the seek, you seek Jesus in them.
yeah.
Like that's what you're seeking. You're not, seeking their opinion or like fault finding. So you're seeking Him.
That's a major key to moving trees, isn't it? Because, you know, sight, what you see, almost determines a lot of stuff that goes on.
I was just thinking, like, I suppose it actually helps people because because you can either help open their door or like shut it. Like if you just cancel them out, not
Yeah.
even trying to help draw out
Yeah.
God in them,
Yeah.
you just shut it like there's nothing in there going on. You can get like disheartened and give up.
Yeah, it goes back to that saying the Lord gave us 20 plus years ago, you've yet to see the power of a people valued. If you get in an environment where people are doing what you're saying, if everybody's doing that, everybody's looking for the Christ and not looking for the actions, the attitudes, the goods, not keeping scores of goods and bads. This person was good to me, this person was bad to me.
But like that really helped me with you guys, how you guys did that for me. Like you saw the potential.
We did.
Yeah. And you're still doing it.
We're still doing it.
And it was so helpful. Like that's probably the most helpful thing. I think I'm gonna cry.
It's okay. But what a neat environment to be in.
Yeah.
Trying to draw it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause-
It's
yeah.
nice having people in your corner. Like, and I like
That's a
how
good
you
point.
use the word cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, encourages.
Kelly Varner said one, you know, and this was towards the end of his life, and he said, and it's a classic tree of knowledge, good and evil, tree of life statement. He said, I don't want people to hate me or love me, which is the tree of, because in the tree of knowledge, good, you can hate someone or you can love them, all the different degrees. He said, I think super prophetic, he said, I want people to celebrate me. On that tree of life, you're celebrated. No one's keeping a measure of right and wrong. And it's not even love or hate. It's beyond that. So, he says he makes everything beautiful, and Zion's the beauty of perfection. I think it's because it's going to be filled with the people that don't measure love or hate. They celebrate people. They see that. I mean, it's just an awesome message, isn't it? And the practicality of it, you can work on it every day. Like we did it with you. The Lord showed me you finished, and, you weren't that tricky. A little bit tricky.
A little bit tricky.
A little bit tricky.
What does that mean?
Well, it takes a while sometimes. But, if you get people
Oh,
around
I
like
thought
a
you meant the
cheerleader.
image. I was like,
No.
I thought you were talking about the image. I was like, the image is a bit tricky. Like,
No.
what's going on
To get there, the journey.
to get there? Yeah.
Yeah. But, getting back to my birthday present, it's not about what people do or don't do for you. The thing for me is people celebrate you. That's the important thing. The present's just an outworking of that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we said it a while ago in the vids. If you could get 3 people to celebrate you, that'd be enough, nearly. Especially if one of them was yourself.
Yeah, like so that's why I like the word cheerleader to swap it out with the celebrate. The celebrate makes sense, but
Yeah.
because you're actually trying to cheer
Yeah.
the Christ in people,
Yeah.
like the growth.
So when I said at the
For them.
start about changing trees and working on yourself, I don't always celebrate myself because I still measure how much have I done or not done today, how good have I been, all this sort of stuff, you know what I mean? And it can be with the best motives. What sort of leader am I being? What sort of, it can be about good stuff. And it's all death. It's all rubbish. So, like, these trees to me,
trickiness.
intensely
That's the
practical.
trickiness of that tree.
It's a tricky. No wonder the devil, who's a trickster,
Yeah.
no wonder he used that
It's
tricky
the
tree.
cunningness of the good thing part.
The cunningness.
Yeah.
We said it was more dangerous. So, like, I know this stuff. Oh my goodness, we teach this stuff, but it's insidious. And so I want to get to the healthiest thing I can do is get to the point where you celebrate yourself apart from your deeds, good or bad. It's powerful. And then it is rest and it is peace. When I first got third day, when the Lord stood up in me, and I said, oh my God, you're really here. And I just said, I don't need men's favour. It's rest. If God celebrates you, he's the only one with all the information. They can all just take a number and join the queue, you know? So that's what you're saying. That's smart. If we get a generation to do that, what you're doing,
Yeah, it was really helpful, like with you guys taking me under your wing when I was, when I was like new to the way and I had no understanding, and you guys took me under your wing and, yeah, supported, encouraged. And it's like you don't know necessarily what the way will look like for me, but
No.
you're just cheering me on and like supporting me, and that was just like massive.
Yeah.
And then with Hannah, and like she's been displaying.
you're going to cry.
I don't feel like I'm going to cry at the moment,
Okay.
but it might be tears again later. But Hannah, when she's been displaying like the journey in her way for ages, and then the last couple of years when she's been putting words to it, it's like it's been a fast track for me because I've been able to like see it and like so she's paved the way and I can
awesome.
walk in behind it, and her putting words to it makes it make so much more sense, and
Yeah.
it's like cool.
Yeah, because I don't want it to be slower for people. I want it to be faster.
Yeah. We talked about
cool.
that because you said it took you like 14 years to get a breakthrough. And you said that we talked about, will it take other people as long? I said, no, you've made a way and you're putting language to it. And like for Zoe, how many years ago did you come and stay with us?
2021, so
3 years.
ago.
And like I said to someone this week, I don't worry about Zoe. Like she doesn't ring us every week, every day. We don't see her all the time. But I know she's up and running. So you got to where Hannah got, that way you got there within 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how cool is that? So you're making a way for others.
Because it takes away the stress and the unsureness.
Yeah.
It's like a sure foundation,
Yeah.
and you don't have to stress about different. I stressed about so many different things
Yeah.
because it was confusing. It
Super
it didn't
confusing.
make a lot of sense,
Yeah.
and then it didn't make a lot of sense to the people around me. And it's really hard when it doesn't make sense to the people around you because it already doesn't make a little bit like sense to you. So that's why like cheerleading is like cool.
Because it doesn't make sense. And we've
Yeah.
done heaps of videos about embracing the way because it doesn't, it doesn't. But like, I'm encouraged because like, I'm super interested in moving the church out of the state of being it's been in, and moving it into this sort of state of being. I spoke to a guy the other day, it's the same sort of thing. Where you're valued, where you're celebrated, not the pastors, not the super leaders, but the people. I wrote a note, I have it in my little diary, well, it's actually quite big, but on one page I got 2 words from this week, one of the days, and one of the guys was praying, I forget who it was, and he said, and who can lead this great people? And so it just gripped me again, and I thought, so I pray for you guys, and I said, Lord, we want to be, we want to be the best leaders. We don't want to be blind. We don't want to be leading people into a ditch. We want to lead people out of a ditch. And my mentality is they're a great people. So I always talk about the next generation, that they're great. I see awesomeness. And then, my generation, the generation, they're great people because they have to be, because the Lord's in all of them. And so like I was thinking, if all the leaders in the church globally had a mentality that said, oh my God, I'm leading a great people. I mean, that would change the way everybody deals. I know a lot of leaders do that, but I've been in situations where The leaders are great. The results are great. And the people are just there to
Sunbalance.
serve the ministry. But like, so, you know, our value is when Zoe comes, she's the most important person. Because, you know, we see that she's greatly beloved from the Lord. Our job is to, you know, support her in that. And we treat everybody like that. And so for me, the last few years have been opinions on this person, watching their actions and attitudes and having an opinion, and the Lord's going, your opinions and your attitudes about them, how's it working? Okay, not too good. They don't, it doesn't produce any fruit. Just kills a relationship. He goes, just love everybody, just forgive everybody, and just celebrate everybody. And he said, watch the fruit. So these trees, and this is the Lord, these trees are designed for one thing, to produce fruit. Now, we know the fruit of the bad tree, but this new tree, we got to, because I never had this thought before, but Eve saw that tree in Genesis 3 and she saw it was good to eat, so it was good fruit, and it would make you wise. The Lord's changing, and we talked last week about, I mentioned the word changing our diet. You've changed diets with your view of people, and you're going, this tastes better.
Absolutely.
Hey, what good fruit. Because we've all eaten the other one, the opinions and judgment one, and it ends up being a bit wormy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, the
Poison.
church is changing diet, but you got to almost explain what the diet is. So we're explaining what's not on the menu. You know, it's like, that is off the menu.
You know, like the Snow White story
Yeah.
with the apple. Yeah. She goes to sleep. It's a bit like that. Eat the apple. You're like, because you're like a death state, basically.
Yeah, so
And
you know,
Jesus the Prince comes to rescue you.
we said that last video. Adam's lost. He's asleep. It's one of the terms for Adam. He's asleep. You're asleep in Adam. But, you know, the other son is a son that's revealed, but he's a quickening. Jesus, you know, you wake up.
Wake up.
And I said, I think there's a massive wake up. This simple stuff we're talking about, it's not that it's simple, but it's like profound, because we've all done that stupid stuff for a long time. This is a better diet, a better way, and it'll produce life. And I still think what you're talking about, I'll ask you a question. You do that with others, you know, and that's cool. Like we did it with you, especially me. I was amazing at it. But it was easy because we could see. Has it changed your opinion of yourself? What the lens you use to look at yourself, what's that looking like?
I found it super good. I keep using the word helpful, but how you guys treated me and seeing how you guys displayed it towards me. Yeah, so how you guys treated me, and then I could apply that to myself because I'd seen it displayed.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was also really helpful for me as well when after I left you guys, it was kind of an incubator in a way.
Yeah.
And then been out to different places, and then when I've been in those situations and having to apply what I've learned and like learning new things, and the Lord's developing character and such things, I
Being
have,
nicer to your mother.
there's one of them.
You're welcome.
Sorry, Mum. And yeah, and then so when I've been in those places and then getting to come back to you guys,
Yeah.
like a home, because it's like, yeah, it's like a home.
We did try to adopt you.
Yeah, I'm adopted. But that was really nice because in those situations, it's like not having the understanding, like myself or from other people, and then coming back to you guys and just being encouraged and being supported.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so
We're looking pretty good on this video.
Goodbye.
you guys are
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and then that like brought a freshness to be able to go back and like keep living it out. So that was awesome. And then, yeah, I'm not quite sure how to answer like applying it to myself, But I think I'm definitely getting there. Like, I don't feel pressure because I see the way, like, Hannah lives and you guys live and stuff, and it's like you guys don't put that pressure on yourself. You don't, like, beat yourself up, because I did used to beat myself up, I think. Like, I did used to, like, bash myself, like the whip that we were talking about at the start. Yeah, so that used to be my method. And it's like, that is not love, like, that is not God's way, and it's ineffective. So yeah, it's like trying this new way. It's like, okay, well, that didn't work, we're gonna try this tree, eat this good fruit instead. And yeah, it's like being patient and loving is always way more effective. Like, that's what works, that's what gets results.
You made good progress, eh? Oh, you feel yourself making progress, eh? You know you have.
Yeah.
And from when you first turned up.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, because, like, you know, instead of whipping, you speak, and you just speak to yourself, but you don't have to, like, your speech isn't supposed to be, it's supposed to be encouraging. Like, you're just supposed to be learning. You are of Christ, so that's why you're not supposed to quit, because you're of him. So, of course, you just speak the truth and with encouragement, the things you need to hear, to eat from, to, like, learn and grow.
Getting off that other tree, it just makes a vacuum for the Lord to fill. Because, you know, he's in us and he just wants to get bigger. And so every stupid mentality you drop can be replaced by an accurate one. And it's, how far are we on the journey? Well, we're not finished, because the result is total transformation. You know, the renewing your mind totally until, you know, he says, come and learn of me. Until you know, like, I have issues.
Is it like, until it's like forgiven and forgotten?
Oh, that's good. Bob.
That you don't even remember?
No, that's cool. That is cool. That is so good.
And that would be like pure innocence, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the key.
You don't even know how to be that.
Yeah. People go, because that's why that insidious line, I'm a sinner, is so antichrist, because that will never allow that progress into innocence.
Because there's so many things that I don't do, and it's not because it's the rules. It's already the nature that's there. To do the opposite would be against my nature, and it doesn't make any sense. You don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, but to get to that state fully, completely.
It's the leaven and the loaf. You know, I say to the Lord sometimes, oh my goodness, you know, we're making progress, and but maybe we could be making faster progress. And he goes, it's leaven. You don't notice it. A lot of people have come a lot further than they realise. You know, and we're still a bit hard on ourselves, but the Lord's doing it. And, you know, you go to bed, you wake up in the morning, you're better. It was working. Oh, we haven't slept the last week. We've been awake between 2 and 5 every morning, and me and my wife wide awake going, why are we awake? I don't know, but something's happening in our spirit. You know, I talk about the gap between spirit and mind. My mind's going, well, I'll just read a book. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I don't often know what's actually going on, but moving off that tree into this new tree, I'm super interested in that. Everybody is, aren't they? Because what do you want? Peace, joy, righteousness. I mean, you just want to be alive. Jesus said, like unto me, you may have what? Life. You know, and that other stuff just produces death, you know, all the time.
It's just miserable.
Yeah.
It's not, you wouldn't want that. I mean, you're glad that is a temporary person and not an eternal person, because that would be horrible.
I was thinking about you two today, and I was thinking about the progress that you both made. You know, obvious progress to me. You know, and I was saying to the Lord, what's the key to Hannah and Zoe? How come they're making progress? And he said it's simple. He said it's because of their will. You've made decisions and you surrendered your will. You're not battling the Lord with your will. Because, you know, like in the garden with the stupid tree, it was an act of the will that got them to eat it. And he goes, to obey is better, you know, than doing all these things. It's better to be willing and obedient. And I was looking at a scripture today, and it said, if you're willing and obedient, you'll eat the good of the land. And so the whole first part was the willingness, you know. And so then you surrender your will, not my way, your way, Lord, And then if you start to see, like the Lord said to him in that garden, don't eat off that. One instruction, not 100. The 10 commandments was the one commandments. Don't eat. Just obey that one thing. Matt, like you talk about keeping the rules. Adam couldn't keep one. So God knows why did 10. God did 10. It was like, well, they couldn't keep one. He just, you're just making a point.
Yeah.
One was too hard, and so obedience is a super duper key. I'm going to read this out because it's just so cool. Now, Zoe, how far into what you're saying are you?
Yeah, I haven't got anything else on my
I thought so.
mind
Thought
currently.
your tank was empty.
What I was gonna say actually,
Yes.
was with the be still and no sort of thing, and coming to the farm just for like a holiday. I'm driving up for a break, so I was like, oh cool, because the farm's like a stopping place,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh sweet, I'll get to like be still, like that'll be nice. And then I've come here, and what you're talking about with like the no sleep, like it's almost felt like a restless feeling in a way.
Yeah.
And just like my mind racing, because normally when I sleep really well, like I'm able to just turn my brain off, but like here I just it's been like I've just been lying there, my heart's like been beating fast, and like my mind's racing. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, super restful.
So I'm like, this doesn't feel still. But
Is anybody else?
Yeah.
But that could just mean like ears pricked, listening, like, ooh.
Spirit's alert.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's something in the spirit for sure.
Something's happening. It's been quite a sad time because we've made the decision this week to leave this blessed farm. Everybody's excited about it except for me, and I have come slowly to the party.
Wasn't we supposed to be temporary, Dad?
I have loved this farm. I haven't liked it.
Yeah, like I've loved the view. Yeah.
I'm excited about the next stage because it's not my will be done. I don't know where we're supposed to be. Although I rang someone up last night and chatting away, and then we had a pre-meeting a while ago when they were visiting, and her husband said, we were praying, he goes, I'll just get one word. And I said, what's that? And he goes, Havelock.
I remember.
And I thought, I'm thinking in my brain, he's supposed to move to Havelock. But he was the same person that said Marlborough for us to move here. And so I was talking to, it was Amy last night, and she goes, remember Mike's the Havelock? And I go, turns out he's in charge of my directions.
Still, wasn't a
He's
one-off.
anointed to tell me where to go until he says something I don't like. Then he's getting the
Isn't
back.
he already? That's the whole time he's been saying that. Like Marlborough, what?
Yeah. But listen, eating the fruit of the land, you all know it's in Isaiah chapter 1, don't you? You remember that through your Bible studies.
Yes.
Common knowledge.
It's one of the most well-known scriptures, isn't it, in the Bible? Hey, Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pet knows it.
And then, to me, it's a little bit of like Isaiah chapter 1. It's a bit of the tale of the two trees, and so he's talking to his people, and he's going. I'll just paraphrase some of it. And what they did is they rebelled, so they took their will,
Yeah.
and they made it their own.
Yeah.
Rebellion's just not my will, Lord, not your will, but my will.
Yes.
So that was the thing. So the key to success of you two has been your total surrender of your will. You don't plan your life. You don't put dibs on it. Well, whatever you want, whenever, wherever, we're in. That's a major first key to success.
Yes.
If you don't surrender that one, I don't think a million sermons is going to get it done. You don't do that one, you're not a chance, So anyway, these guys, they take their will away and all these things. And it says, but Israel does not know. My people do not consider. And then he goes, and this is when Jesus said these words when he was here wandering around with the Pharisees and Sadducees. So Isaiah chapter 1, alas, sad, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, and there's a classic line, a brood of evildoers. You know, the whole brood of vipers thing, that's where that comes from. Children who are corrupted, or who are corrupters, they have forsaken the Lord, they have provoked to anger the Holy One of Israel, and they've turned away backward. And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And then I'm just reading because it's cool. And then he gets down to besieged cities and a remnant, just a little remnant left.
Always little remnant.
Yeah. And he said, unless they had a remnant, and this is what I think with the church, unless there had been a remnant, we would have become like Sodom and Gomorrah. I looked it up this morning, Sodom and Gomorrah. I thought Sodom meant something else, but it just means scorched or burnt. It's just burnt. And Gomorrah just means heap of ruins. So like to rebel against the Lord, to turn your back on him, to move away, you just end up with scorched earth, just a heap of ruins. So it's like a picture of what the fruit or the result of that first tree ends in ruin and scorched. There's nothing good, okay? And then, but don't worry, even though they rebelled against the Lord, they're still doing religious stuff because that'll work, won't it? Okay? They should read the start of the chapter. They would have saved themselves a lot of religious practices. He goes, listen, the Lord has such a dry sense of humour. Verse 11 of chapter 1 of Isaiah. To what purpose is the multitude of your sacrifices to me? Because back in the start of it, he goes, they've rebelled against me.
Yeah.
And here they are. He's going, in light of the fact that you're in rebellion, you turned your back to me, I'd like to understand the purpose of the multitude of your sacrifices to me. That's classic tree of knowledge of good and evil, isn't it? Lord, we're going to do our own thing. Please bless it. Yes. Lord, here's some money. Lord, bless my stuff. He's going.
He's like, there's no meaning in it because he's not in it.
Yeah.
It's empty.
And then, you know, when the Lord has a moment and he goes, point. I've had enough of burnt offerings of rams and the fat of fed cattle. I don't delight in the blood of bulls or of lambs or of goats. When you appear before me, who has required this? You trample my courts, and this is so encouraging. You bring no more futile sacrifices. Incense is an abomination, and he's wound up. The new moons, the Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot endure. Iniquity in the sacred meetings. Your new, he's fired up now. Someone's had to calm him. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hates. Is that strong? They are a trouble to me. I am weary of bearing them. When you spread out your hands, I will hide my eyes. When you make your many prayers, this is the rebellious people. They're still praying and doing churchy stuff. When you make your many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Wash yourselves, make yourselves clean. Blah, blah, blah. Come now, let's reason together. And then he's obviously calmed down. He's going to sort it out. And he goes on to talk about, and then he goes back to the start of the chapter and he goes, because it's a rebellion, he says, if you're willing and obedient, you shall eat the good of the land. Now we know the land's the Lord. So he's going, if you cut all that nonsense out, I don't want all your religious activity. I don't want heaps and heaps of it. I want you to be willing and obedient. And if you do, I'll let you eat of this tree. We can go into Revelation, the tree of life. That's where we are, isn't it? You know? And like all the stuff we do for the Lord and we have done for years, it's like I said to the Lord this week, what do you want me to do today? He said, I don't care. I don't care what you do. I'll care what state you're in. Because it's more important, the relationship, the intimacy, you know, and all that sort of stuff. So to be willing and obedient and then to start eating out of that tree. It's crazy, Isaiah chapter 1. It could be a picture of the modern church. Lord, we're going to do our own thing. We're going to run all our meetings and do all our crazy stuff. And he's going to pray a whole many prayers. He's going, why? What's the point if you're not even surrendered? So the key to you two is examples of surrendered lives. I love it. Hey, Is that the strongest thing about you two? It's not, and obviously your brains and
Okay, thanks.
the fact that you've got hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome, though?
Yeah.
And then, because we want to change
I would-
diet and eat.
I
Hey,
wouldn't reverse it.
I wouldn't change it.
It's worth it.
No, it's worth it, eh?
Mm.
Yeah. And you didn't always feel like that. But eventually you got to that point.
No, yeah. It
Yeah.
was hard for a while.
And then fruit is something you eat, but then Zoe's fruit, because it's an example. And so what took you 14 years, she did in 2, because she's taller.
It's fine with me.
And so the next people that we come along, we want to do it in 6 months. And then the next group, we want to introduce them to this and not teach them that. And so they're born in Zion. They start eating out of that tree. Teach them. I didn't know new creation, new nature. I just thought, 10 commandments, do good, go to heaven, be bad, go to hell. I heard a guy the other day said the psychiatric wards are filled with Christians who think they've done the unpardonable sin, or are so depressed they can't beat their sin, they're suicidal, or they've lost their minds. Does that sound like come to me? Or you are laden and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest? It doesn't, does it?
No.
It doesn't sound like that. So I love it. Zoe, that's awesome. You are fruit.
Thank you. It was cool how you were saying how the Lord's more concerned about your state of being. Like, that's powerful because, you might have to help me remember the word. How I used to get caught up with doing the right thing and, going to the Lord and being like, Lord, what should I do? How should I do it? Like, what decision should I make? And I was constantly like after that, but it was from like an anxious state of being, or like worried that I could do the wrong thing, go the wrong way.
Fall short.
Yeah. So I was always like, Lord, and then I would get all like muddled in my mind and not be able to hear clearly from him, or it's just, that indecision was so paralyzing for me at
Indecision.
points. Yeah. Because it's like, I'd be like, Lord, what should I do? What should I do? And then I would get all wound up and couldn't hear properly. And then with that thing, the Lord was like the state of being is more important to him.
Yeah.
And then I'm free, because that was chains, a form of imprisonment. And one of my friends got a wee picture for me, which is like, if you're at a supermarket and you're with a little kid and you're in like the lolly aisle or something, and the little kid's like, oh, what should I get? Or like, what can I do? Like, that's horrible to see like a young child like that. It's like, you're free, you can go choose, like,
Get whatever you want.
get what you like.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be like a fun thing, it's supposed to be a treat.
Yeah, not a burden.
Yeah. And then
Choose
like,
the wrong biscuit.
yeah, pretty much. Like, oh, which one should I get? What would be the best thing to pick?
Yeah.
And it's not about that. Like, you just want to see the child free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indecision.
Because we're supposed to have like an eternal mindset too. Because anytime that sort of thought creeps in, I think, look, there's will be another time. We have to get the exact right thing here, or I have to order the exact right thing, and it's like, calm down.
Yeah.
It sounds
Relax.
like license,
It's
but
like,
if you chill out,
Yeah.
you'll get it right. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Now, indecision. We'll finish because it's been long. Indecision. I know people that have suffered from that. And it's not off the right tree. And there was one person who I rate very highly, along with everybody else. And the Lord, it was Nicole, she knows this one, it's not a secret. And the Lord said to her, when I was praying with her or talking to her, chill the hell out.
Yeah.
And it's like a super good play on words. I thought, Lord, he goes, right, it's in the Bible, hell. But chill the hell out, because the anxiety doesn't produce any fruit, and it probably leads to bad decisions. Always, nearly always. So to chill out, it's all good. Hey, anything else, what's your new nickname? Bambi.
Is it?
Because I was boo-boo, and
no.
I discovered after all these years you don't like it.
No, it's fine. Little boy bear, isn't it?
Little boy bear.
The male bear.
Oogie bear.
He was the nice one.
Baby.
As I was thinking, I had one more story to finish with. You know, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know, both sides of the tree are retarded. Zoe was like a classic example of a good person. I remember when you think one of the videos ages ago, a few years ago, you did a testimony. And it was like you were at school. I can't remember the exact detail or something. But did you say a bad word or something? You know, like, people are doing drugs, stealing stuff, ram raiding, ripping things off, you know, beating people up, doing horrendous things. And Zoe said, I said a bad word once. And your life was destroyed.
One time.
And you were really undone.
I was.
So we're talking about a good person. I mean, like, we got an example at the top of that tree of good retarded people. Zoe, you were right up there, weren't you? Oh, my goodness. I blame your mother for that, because she's one of those horrible, nice people, isn't she?
She's nice, but she's working on it.
She's weird.
Not being so nice.
Someone was telling me the other day, I think it was Deb Elliott, someone was meeting you, and Deb warned me, said, now listen, you're going to meet Tamsin, and this person doesn't like people who are nice. She goes, now, you're going to be offended with Tamsin because she's nice, and you're going to think it's fake. But it's not, it's actually real. And then she came back to Deb, the lady, and goes, oh my God, she is really nice.
Yeah, she was like so glad Deb told her, because she was like, I was going to be, you know, worried maybe.
Written her off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had to warn someone that I was nice.
Yeah.
Just this particular lady.
Come with a warning.
Particular lady.
The nice.
Because most people think that's fake. Yeah, they don't trust it.
Yeah.
No. Well, I don't particularly like it. So if my wife starts being nice to me, I get suspicious.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, so praise the Lord. That's awesome, Zoe. Thank you for that. My personal work, and I think everybody's, I looked at a work on after every video. Your work on is to celebrate yourself. We've talked about it before. To don't beat yourself up. To see yourself, you know. And like, we celebrate you. I don't find it hard, you know, even though you still do dumb stuff sometimes. You know, I don't worry about you. And you've been even saved 5 minutes. You know, I don't worry about you because I know you're going to be good. But it's like, to get the Lord's perspective on yourself, that's the most important thing you'll ever do for everybody else. Because once you get that for yourself from the Lord, you'll be better company for everybody else.
If you can be a sanctuary for yourself and the Lord.
Oh, that's a good line, Bobby.
Bless.
Can you say that again? Have you ever said that before?
I don't know. If you can be a sanctuary for yourself and the Lord, you get like everything from there on. Doesn't matter.
You're going to be good for everybody. That is
good
brilliant.
for everybody.
Okay, now that's my favourite line today. Well, except for
No,
all
that
the
was the
awesome
best
ones, that
one.
was the best line.
Yeah.
Now, Zoe, you knew what's going to happen next, don't you? Blue steel.
Doing the look.
You've been practiced to look.
I
You're pretty photogenic. You ready? You've been working on one. My last
have
one,
not.
I look like a dwarf.
Your eyes were closed, I think.
Are they?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Zoe. That was awesome. Hannah was evidence of the next realm. You are evidence, and it's awesome. And we're going to finish now with a blue steel look into the camera. Are we ready, Hannah?
Are we?
Yes, Hanny Poo Poo.
I don't know.
Yes, come on, little Bambi Wooble.
ready?
Yes. Daddy loves you.
So how do you even describe a blue steel? Like, Zoe didn't grow up with cowboys.
It's your best
Oh, it's-
runway model look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure.
No pressure. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's read.
Oh, like the tree and that whole stage has ruined the word blessing for me. It's always tainted.
And like when people say good, whenever someone says good, I always think immediately of the scripture, like, no one is good but God. Like, that's not good. Like, what is good?
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, I know you shouldn't hear the word blessing and then roll your eyes, but for some reason my eyes want to roll.
Yeah.
So what's that from?
It's like because you're either blessed or cursed. It's like the adolescent, immature, natural man stage of the religious stage. It's like, and where's my blessing? And I'm like, oh God.
What's your and you love blessing?
Do you want a blessing?
What did you say about blessing mountain?
Get out of my way. But like, we're like the Christ being. I mean, you go, people come to you, go, do you want a blessing? And yeah, I know that's good. Now, blessing and good words have like ruined for us, but like, or do you want to be like truth and grace? Like, we're supposed to give truth and grace to people, like the more mature thing to do, the Christ thing. Oh, blessing's fine. Let's not put that on. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit tainted for me.
They've ruined our words.
We have to get new ones in.
Yeah, we've got to redeem some of those words, change the meaning.